Right, so we had this. This is so funny. Right, I might need more space for this one, but I said we'll go for this one. So the same thing, literally same thing. So we look out for the ground. So this here is the ground, so we label that. That is 0. So now we gotta label the others. So there's 10. So this whole node here is the node after the battery. So we know that is 10. Yeah? Well, as we have this here. It's a battery, but we know what the voltage of the battery is. But anyway, so let's see. The reason why we can't assume this V2 is 5 is because we don't know what the voltage is. But let's label the nodes for now. So we can see if we actually form a supernode. Don't just assume, hey, I see a battery. The voltage of the battery for the node is whatever it is. No, careful. Gotta look out for supernodes. All right, so we have all the nodes here. So let's label, so we can label, but let's label first. There's V3, well, there's V2, and this here is V1. Nice. So now we gotta look out for supernodes. So we have a voltage source here, but is it in between two unknown nodes? Well, yes, we don't know what V3 is, and we don't know what V2 is. We have no idea what it is. And we have a voltage source here. Yeah, so anytime you have a voltage source in between two unknown nodes, you have a supernode. So when you see the supernode, same steps. You treat the entire node as one. So you will include the node after, the node before, and the battery. So all this here will end up being a node. Yeah, and you can label that VS1. I mean, continue like normal. So I normally assume my current leaving. So V1, I don't know the voltage for it, so I need an equation for it. So I assume a current leaving. Same thing for the supernode. Yeah, right. So I form our equations. So I start with V1. All right, so V1, let me start. So we have 3 endpoints. So we have an endpoint here. We have an endpoint here, and we have a endpoint here. So I have three mini equations on it. So let's start. So V1, so everything here could be positive for me. Yeah, so you end up with V1, where I'm coming from, minus where I'm going. So for V1, I go into VS1. Remember, you're treating that whole supernode like one node, right? So if I'm looking for the link between them, it will be VS1. All right? And you divide that by the resistance between them, which is 4. Plus, the second one, okay, so you do this one, I do this one here. So we have V1, subtract where I'm going, which is still going to VS1, divided by the resistance between them, which is 2. Plus, so we do this one just now, this one here. All right, so I'm doing something wrong here. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me what I'm doing. So I'm waiting for somebody to tell me. So here, right, I do this for a reason. Because a lot of students just do it. You notice in here now, you notice there's a battery. And some students will be like, what? Shims, why do they? I do something wrong. And you just flustered. And you just lost. Yeah, you just lost as to why it happened. You'll be like, that's a supernode? Yeah, the reason why, and I do this for a reason, because I wanted to show you something. Because most of it was just going along with it. Yeah, you're doing the correct thing. Yeah, I was doing the correct thing with the equation, but I didn't need to do it. Why? Because I know the voltage at this node already. It's 10. I already know it. Yeah, so most of they get catch. For those that didn't, good for it. I didn't need to do anything like that for this node. Yeah, because I already know the voltage of this is 10. The reason why I know this is 10 is because the node before it is 0. So I know if the battery is 10, it could be 0 plus 10. It can't be anything different. So we know this node is 10. Yeah, so that's why I say make sure and look out for the node that you know the voltage is for. You don't need to do anything for it. You already know what the voltage is. Yeah, so look at it and be careful because a lot of students do it like this and they get stuck and they just waste time in the exam. because they did an equation for a node that they didn't need to do the equation for, because I already know the voltage for it. Yeah, so be careful. I really don't want it to make that mistake. All right, so let's run that back. So now that we actually know what we're looking for, just be careful that mistake people does make. If we're looking at it now, the only node that we don't know the voltage and stuff for is the supernode. If you look at the properties, that is the only node we don't know what the voltages are for. All right, so we just go. So this entire circuit, all I need is the supernode equation and the link equation. But so I go. So we start VS1 endpoints, assume all the currents leaving. So we have one endpoint here, we have two endpoints here, we have three, and we have four. So like 4 mini equations we look at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So there you go. So if you start with 1, where coming from, minus where going, which is 10, divided by 4, plus. So that 1, there we do that 1, 2. We are coming from, subtract where going, which is 10, divided by 2. So we do this one. Going to 3 now, same thing, where coming from, minus where going, which is 0, divided by 8, plus, so I do this one just now, 4. So we're coming from, which is VS1, minus we're going, which is 0 divided by 6, which is equal to 0. Yeah, so you have to be careful. Nice, so that's the link, that's the supernode equation. Now we have the link equation. So the link equation, remember, that's the fun part. So if I'm looking at it, it don't really matter what direction. I like to go in the direction that's leading to a positive. We can also go this direction. Once you sum up a node and the battery in the correct polarity, you'll get the same answer. So it don't matter where you go. So if I start with V, so this here is V3. If I start with V3, so it'll be V3 are going down. So this going from a negative to a plus, so it's a rise, right? So it could be V3 plus 5, and that would equal to V2. And if I carry it across and make it nice, V3 minus V2 will equal to negative 5. All right, that's all. And luckily in this circuit, you just needed the equations for the supernode. And that's why it is. You treat the whole node as one, get the equation fit like normal. Then you need to link the inside with the outside. And that's why it is. Yeah. So when you're actually calculating this, why this important is for VS1, when you're actually calculating the voltages, this here, you can swap for this. And then you go continue up into the equation to solve it. Right, but for this lecture, I don't need to go through into that because you don't need to solve it for the exam. So I'm just showing you how to get the equations and you will get through. All right, so that is all for this one. If I go the opposite, it's the same thing. It'll be V2 minus 5 is equal to V3. Yeah, and I get the same answer. Even if, because if I carry that across, you'll get the same answer. It don't matter wait, if you go so, or if you go so, don't matter. Once you sum the node, the battery in the correct polarity, that will equal to the last node they go into. If you went this way, same thing. If you went that way, same thing. Don't matter. So don't have to pay it. Don't matter where you start. Once your polarity is correct. Yeah, that is what. And node will most always be positive. So you know it's not gonna be, you're not gonna start with like minus V2 minus 5. No, it'll be V2 minus 5. But the polarity for the battery is going from a plus to a minus. And that will equal to the node after it, which is V3. The headache done. All right.
So,
yes, I'm listening.
one question.
Yeah.
I see the diagram. It starts with V1, V2, V3. It is normally come with that, or you just
Nah,
add
you
it
had to label it.
oxygen?
Nah, you had to label
Oh,
it. Yeah. You can label it VA, VB, VC. You can label it ABC. You can label it 1, 2, 3. You can label it cheese, oranges, sausage. You just label it. Just label it. Obviously, the
alright.
consensus, the nice way to do it is V1, V2, or V3, or VA, VB, and VC. It will make sense. It will be nice. All right. They just send this question that they label it for me. That is why I relabel it. So I will notice that I relabel my nodes, even though they give me it, I relabel. In your exam, you just gonna give you a raw circuit with resistors, voltages, dependent sources. You had to know how to analyze it label whatever you had to label the nodes, and it continue like no, look out for your super nodes, look out for your dependent sources, and deal with it accordingly. All right.